Well, last year in April, I did a video in which I complained about how bad the internet is in Australia, or at least in the area of Australia that I live, and had a look at the Google Chrome Easter egg Dino Jump. And as I'm sure no one who's been exposed to the wonders of bureaucracy would be surprised to learn, nothing much in that situation has changed fast. And so it still remains not uncommon for us to be often greeted with a network connectivity issue T-Rex rampage, also known as Dino Jump. For those of you not familiar with Dino Jump and not willing to watch our previous video on it, it is this little dinosaur that appears when you're unable to connect to the internet. Although, as a cute little Easter egg, if you hit the spacebar, it turns into a little bit of an arcade-style minigame. The object of the minigame is rather simple. Jump cacti and pterodactyls, whatever the plural is of those prehistoric bird thingamajigs, and quite simply survive as long as humanly is possible. As long as dinosaurally is possible. And as you might imagine, the difficulty of the game is ramped up by the speed being increased on a periodic basis. In this game, the basis is every 100 points. Now at this point, you might be thinking, Grim, we already know this. You did a video on Dino Jump last April. And you should know you did a video on Dino Jump last April. You mentioned it earlier in this very video. And if you were thinking that, your observation is of course 100% correct. You are right, I already did a video on it, and far be it for me to do more than one video based on the same video game. But they have in fact actually changed Dino Jump since the last time I did a video on the game. So since I'm not sure what version of the game this is, and since I'm not even sure it's actually even called Dino Jump, for convenience sake and for the purpose of 100% accuracy, I'm going to call this Dino Jump 2.0. If you're wondering what's changed between this Dino Jump and the Dino Jump that was the Dino Jump shown in the last Dino Jump video, it's the day and night cycle that a keen observer may have noticed now exists within Dino Jump 2.0. While the previous version of Dino Jump was blessed with forever sunshine like some sort of beautiful 60s rock album, version 2.0 will now take you every 700 points to a nighttime darker than the tortured soul of a budding poet. This is without a doubt the most noticeable change between the two Dino Jumps, or at least it is the most noticeable change that I have noticed, and in truth, I think it's a rather cool addition. Aside from adding a little bit of much needed realism to our perpetually plotting prehistoric protagonist cacti and pterodactyl jumping adventure, it also adds a little bit of extra difficulty. You see, in my previous review of the previous version of this game, I commented that the background can get rather distracting, especially as the speed of the game increases. Well, that is nothing in contrast to the contrast provided in the day and night cycle. The literal inversion of colours from black to white and white to black when it switches to nighttime is enough to completely break your concentration and cause you to blink. And in a reflex-based game, not unlike in a staring competition with a cat, blinking is not the best thing to do. In fact, it's probably one of the worst. It might only be a really simple graphical change, but it's a really neat addition to the game, and I'm rather happy they added it, as while we wait for our infrastructure to be improved, I'm probably going to be playing this game a lot. However, you might have noticed earlier I said that this was the largest change, and this is because I think there may have been a minor change in the game. And that change simply being that it feels like it was a little bit of a slower game. Or at least when comparing my new top score from this version of the game against my old top score from the last version, it definitely looks like there might have been. Since last time I only got 2,124 points, but this time I had no trouble breaking 5,000. Now it could be said that in my twilight years my reflexes are somehow improving phenomenally, or it could even be argued that my computer is simply not able to handle the amazing new graphical update found within the game. Although, however likely, I don't feel that these two explanations really fit the job for me. I don't mind the game being seemingly slower because I like getting high scores, but it does feel like it could increase a little bit more, a little bit faster, because it felt like it sort of peaked, and when I ended up dying, it felt like I had done so due to a silly mistake that I could have made at any point, rather than it being because the game had got more difficult. Is the game still worth checking out? Well, yes, certainly. If the internet's down, what else are you gonna do? But if your internet's up, it's probably not worth the trouble. Instead, you should be doing something more productive with your time, like watching Sci-Fi Minecart Season 2. And so with all of that said and done, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, I have been and still am Grindle.